Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a 2023 iX xDrive50. This one is in Aventurin Red metallic, and it was built at a time where there weren't many options available. It's about the time when BMW killed the Ultimate package, and due to some production constraints couldn't put anything back on it other than some base options and some other stuff. So we'll discuss that shortly. But I think good news if you're looking for an iX, we've gone through our order bank orders. Now we're just getting basically allocations for store inventory. So if you're waiting around to see how the iX would look and perform, you can get one. I think most places probably now off the lot. So we're at a point where we don't have any orders to fulfill anymore, so we're speccing these for store inventory. So this one is relatively generously specced given what was available. So you can see we have the laser lights in there. You have the parking lights on right now, just for a little bit of effect. Looks wise, I think the front end will probably sort of grow on you over time, but I think overall it's a pretty decent looking car. Your opinion will obviously vary from mine. We got our up front, the giant faux kidney grills here. All the sensors are all going to be in here. Now, Driving Assistance Professional was not available at the time of production here, but through the Connected Drive store you can add Driving Assistance Plus. I'll show you that momentarily on the inside. Got our roundel with the blue surround and pop open for the washer fluid replenishment. Moving over to the side, we have the 22-inch style 1020 wheels, which I think are probably one of the better looking wheels on the iX. You have blue calipers, but they are not M Sport branded calipers. You do have to step up to the M60 to get those M Sport calipers, but to me they look fairly similar, if not the same, just without the M badging on it. So battery size, it's a 105.2 kilowatts battery. You will be able to charge this one at level 2 in about 12 hours from empty at 48 volts. For your charging at, say, a DC fast charger, I think the max is 195 kilowatts, so you will get charged from 10 to 80% in about 35 minutes. Of course, that's going to vary based upon the charger output. That's going to vary by location. Range is estimated at 350 miles, and you can get better than that depending on how you drive, of course. If you make use of the navigation system. So we do have the titanium bronze exterior trim, which gets you these iX badges in titanium bronze. Also the xDrive50 badging. You can see that sort of stripe going down the lower portion of the windows there, plus the faux door handles. So basically this is an ideal spec, and granted we are in Silicon Valley for the San Francisco 49ers fan. So you get your, well, not quite red and gold, but same idea. But I think the side profile looks pretty good on this car, and it does remind me a bit of the i3, given that you have this sort of faux floating roof line here, given that this is in black and the iX badging there as well. If only it had suicide doors for the rear passengers, then it would be basically an i3 on steroids, perhaps. All right, let's make our way inside and go over pricing and options. So opening up, we have the black perforated Sensitech, which is a nice, safe choice to go with Aventurin Red. You could go with, I think it's the Oyster is the other one available. That would look well with it. Maybe even the Mocha perforated Sensitech. That might be another choice you can have with Aventurin Red. But this is a nice, safe choice. All right, so let me turn on the car first. So inside iDrive 8, you guys should all be used to this by now. It will make its way across the lineup eventually. your nice curved display, which is nice and sort of angled towards the driver. So nice, easy to see, very good resolution. And your unique steering wheel, the hexagonal shaped steering wheel, which I think works really well. Of course, you will have to get used to it, but I think it's made for this iX. It's really good design, and a 2-spoke wheel. So where else are you going to get a 2-spoke wheel these days? So nice, simple, and elegant design for the interior. And a lot of space. Then we move to the center console area. So you got your drive selector knob, iDrive controller, which feels a lot different than the iDrive controller of yore. It will take some time to get used to in terms of how it feels and how to interact with it. Volume, scroll wheel, parking brake, which will put the car into park. Auto hold, and a little bit of titanium bronze trim on the interior. You get a nice space here underneath, basically a floating console here. Cup holders down here, wireless charger there, as well as USB-C ports. I think quite elegant and sort of understated for the interior. All right, so let's go over the pricing here. So starting price, the 2023 iX xDrive50 is $84,100. Aventurin Red at another $1950. Sport package for another $2,500. The 22-inch wheels add another $950. The titanium bronze trim on the outside, another $500. Multifunctional seats, $1,600. Get you the massage seats as well as memory seats. If you don't get the multifunction seats, this doesn't appear, which is a little bit annoying if you don't have memory seats on a car of this stature. And again, offerings in terms of options have changed over time, and it changed almost all the time. It's hard to keep track of what's what. But if you get the premium package, it does get you the multifunction seats. The convenience package will be a separate option. So we also have a front ventilated seats option for $500. We got a credit for the lumbar delete on the passenger side for $175. $1,000 for the laser lights. An all told MSRP of $93,920. So a pretty hefty price to pay, but you can go obviously a lot higher on this one. But you get a lot, I think, for your money in terms of standard features. And I guess one thing we should talk about real quickly, hopefully I haven't done this before. If you want to get to the washer for the back camera, press the parking button. And you can go onto the screen, you can scroll down to more. You can see camera cleaning will be right there to clean the camera, and it sort of squirts out a little bit of water out there, and windshield cleaner, I guess, probably to clean out the camera. It's a pretty nice touch. All right, so as I mentioned earlier in the video, you can add some of the driving assistance stuff back to the car, which was not on it originally. You won't be able to get professional, but you will be able to get driving assistance plus. So make sure it doesn't have it already. You go to driver assistance, then driving. See, right now it's only got the speed limit assistance, but in this setting here, what you'll find is the distance control stuff for cruise control, or active cruise control as B&B calls it. So you go into the apps and then over to the connected drive store. And you can add driving assistance plus. You know, it doesn't say professional. You don't have all the sensors, but you have enough to get by with the smart or active cruise control, or what they also call distance control. So you have a trial offer there for 3 months for $0, a month for $20, a year for $210, 3 years for $580, unlimited for $950. So you can add the driving assistance plus to your vehicle if it was not originally built with it. You won't be able to get professional, but I think this is going to be pretty good in terms of cruise control. So you don't have the dumb version of cruise control. You have a much more advanced and smarter version of cruise control for your iX and other vehicles where it's available. So opening up a very roomy back seat. Like, even though it's sort of like comparable in size, I think it's the X5 in terms of length. You get a ton of legroom and knee room in the back of the iX, more so than you get in the X5. All right, got our panoramic moonroof, which is, I think it's, what is it, chromatic? No, that's not right. which a touch button can become more opaque and less opaque, basically up here. So this is the more opaque view. You make it less opaque, doing the same thing. So very nice feature. Sort of reminds me, I think, what's on the 787 Dreamliner touch a button, and you can change the opaqueness of the window. You get another 2 zones of climate control in the back seat. And of course, headroom. I mean, nothing to complain about here. It is a tremendous amount of headroom, and it's very comfortable in the back seat. And I think the car drives really well, and it's super comfortable, and also super quick. So the xDrive50, it's a dual motor setup. So it's 516 horsepower max and 564 torques. You won't get that all the time, but it is available. Do our kick to open. Then you got your flexible fast charger included. Shame you don't get a nice bag like you do on the BMW XM. But that's a little bit more expensive than the iX. But pretty decent in terms of cargo capacity. You get a little bit of extra storage below. This one does not have the Harman Kardon sound system, so you don't get that system in there. And over here is your mobility kit. But a really decent sized vehicle. I think a pretty good replacement for the X5 if you want to venture into the world of electric vehicles. But that's about it for another quick tour around the iX xDrive50. Again, we haven't had a lot of these on the channel just because they were all customer sold, and we have to keep the state of charge up to 100% for delivery. Take these cars out or even walk around them, I'm going to be draining the battery. And definitely don't want to have that happen for the customer without putting it back on the charger. But we'll see you at the next video.